Alright. Peace, my friend. Tommy. Tommy, yes. I hope you're doing well. And first and foremost, thank you very much for your patience. You feel what I'm saying? But anyways, without further ado, let's definitely jump into your reading. And so, in this section, we're actually just gonna be covering your sun, your moon, and your most dominant planet. You feel me? And so in future sections we'll be going deeper into your birth chart. But yeah, this is definitely going to be valuable information. All right, so first and foremost, right, you have your sun in Leo, right, and it's within the decan of reformation. You feel what I'm saying? And it's in the sixth house. All right, so just real quick, I'm gonna let you inform you on the term of reformation. Reformation is the action of reforming. Hold on, let me look it up. So I got the definition. To reform is to make changes in something, typically a social, political, or economic institute practice in order to improve it. All right, cool. So that's where your sun is. It's in the decan of reformation. And it's within the sixth house. So you may not have known this, but within every zodiac sign there are three decans that go into specifics about that zodiac. You feel what I'm saying? So there is Leos, but then there are three types of Leos. The Leos born in the first 10 days of the Leo season, the Leos born in the second 10 days of Leo season, and finally the Leos born in the last 10 days of Leo season. You feel what I'm saying? And you were born in the second 10 days of Leo season. You feel what I'm saying? And if we were to get into specifics, you were born on the 12th of August, right? So that's the middle. It's the middle of Leo, but it's like if you were born on the 13 or the 14, then you would have been the last decan of Leo. But anyways, this decan of Leo, it signifies the need to reform and change like things around you, your environment, but in a manner where it's improved. You feel what I'm saying? And so ultimately your sun is within the sixth house, and the sixth house is the house that deals with work. Naturally in a natural birth chart it's associated with the sign Virgo, right? And so Virgo is the sign of labor and it's the sign of harvest. The sixth house is the house that deals with work. It deals with routines. It also deals with health and also deals with illness. You feel what I'm saying? So work, routines, health, and illness. And so with your sun being here, you feel me, it's an indication that for you what is most vitalized is your work life. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not surprise to me that in our connection, in the beginning I was like, kind of iffy, I guess, because I just don't like my time being wasted, and you let me know that you were at work, and it's like it's on point, because with your sun being here, it's an indication that for you in this lifetime your primary focus is work. You feel me? And your primary focus is, with Leo being here, Leo is a sign that deals with the will. It's I will. That's Leo's doctrine, and it's all about the willpower. You feel what I'm saying? And so the sign Leo, it ultimately is not per se an employee, but it's typically the employer. You feel me? So typically what this would indicate is that when it comes to employment and work, as the sixth house signifies, and with your sixth house with your sun being in the sixth house, it's an indication that you are very much a worker, and you probably don't have issues working with companies that you believe in and things like that. You feel me? Having a job, things like that. Like that may be a staple in your life. Like having a job may help you feel powerful. You feel me? And it may help you feel alive. And it's like, when you're unemployed, you may feel like you need to get work, like that energy may be there with the sixth house being here. And so ultimately the sixth house, it's also just like the house of service, and so with your sixth house, with your sun being in the sixth house, it's an indication that you enjoy when you are able to help others and you're able to serve others, and like I said earlier, Leo is a very executive sign, and so this is an indication that within your work you may attract executive roles and executive positions, where you're like the leader, where you're the supervisor, where you're the manager. You feel me? And that's how you prefer it and that's how you like it. But ultimately with the sun being in Leo in the sixth house, it's an indication that esoteric astrology, the deeper aspect of astrology, which is where I dwell, um call it, the sun signifies one's power complex, or one's significance complex. You know, how you extract significance from the world, and how you bring significance into the world as well. And so that energy, right, of significance and power, and your will also, is anchored within the department of the astral body, dealing with the sixth house, which deals with work, and it also deals with health. You feel me? So both these two things are vitalized. So on one point, it may be an indication that you are a health conscious individual, you feel me, and you take pride in your health and making sure that you're healthy, and etc., etc. But then it may also indicate at the same time that due to stresses from your work, you may develop health issues, you know, and health problems. You feel what I'm saying? But ultimately, yeah, man, within this decan, let me also explain it like this to you. So this decan of Leo, right, it's signified by centaur, and this is the Leo Sagittarius. This is the Sagittarius decan of Leo. You know what I'm saying? And so Sagittarius is the centaur of the constellation, right, the zodiac, and the centaur is the half horse, half man. And so the primary differentiation between the centaur of Sagittarius and the centaur that is within the Leo constellation is that the centaur in the Leo constellation, it has a sword and a shield. You feel what I'm saying? Meanwhile, the Sagittarius constellation has a bow and arrow, you know, and a cloak to invisibilize itself. I hope that makes sense. And so ultimately, you know, a sword is always going to signify thought. You feel what I'm saying? The sword always signifies thought, and of course the shield signifies protection. And so ultimately, let me put it like this for you. Within this decan, right, and we're talking about a centaur, half man, half animal. This is the decan where Sagittarius, my bad, where the individual or Leo has to refine their desire, you know, because Leo's a sign that deals with desire very much. It's will, you know, and the thing about our willpower is it's desire that's continuously paid attention to, you know. So when you are continuously bringing a desire over and over again, like let's say you have a desire to make money, right, and you're continually bringing that desire, like I want to make money, I want to serve, I want to make money, I want to serve, and you don't sway from it, that's willpower, you know, and that's what Leo is all about. And so as you may know, Leo is fixed fire, you know. So fire deals with inspiration, it deals with execution, it deals with action in general, you feel me? And then fixed, right? So this is like fixed will, like fixed actions. And so the beautiful thing about this is Leos typically have a strong will. You know, they're very focused, they can get tunnel vision. You feel what I'm saying? But negatively, they can become stubborn, you know. Stubborn also when it comes to their identity and who they think they are, and not being able to put death to their ego if they need to, you feel me? And sometimes issues can arise because of that, but most times, you know, Leos, they are appreciated that they know for knowing themselves, you know, and having conviction in who they are. You know, people appreciate that about them, and thus, because Leo typically knows who they are, their identity, they are good leaders, you know, and they have a natural tendency to help lead other people, and people also tend to look up to Leos, you know, you feel what I'm saying? And so the Leo energy, ultimately, this type energy, Leo, it's like, so it's the sun, right? The sun's energy, because Leo's ruled by the sun. So with this energy, it's important that you allow yourself to become like radiant, you know, not vibrant, but radiant, you know. So vibrance is like when vibrance is more of an internal thing, you feel what I'm saying? Radiance is more of an external thing, when you're radiating out into the world, you know. As a Leo, you got to think about the sun and what the sun does, and you want to imitate and emulate that as much as possible, you feel what I'm saying? And so I also want to say this, with that being said, about emulating the sun as much as possible. You know, the sun has like it serves the collective, right? The whole solar system. Without the sun, we wouldn't be able to sustain ourselves, you feel what I'm saying? And so this can even be indication that you possibly are a father, you feel me? And your family relies upon you greatly, you know. That's very Leo energy, being a father, you feel what I'm saying? And having because Leo also rules offsprings. I don't know if you knew this. It rules offsprings, it rules children. You know, Leo rules sex, it rules romance, it rules dating, it rules entertainment, and it rules creativity as well. You feel me? So these are all things that you may be entangled and into. Expressing yourself creatively, maybe having a whole lot of sex and thus having a whole lot of kids. Who knows? You know. Yeah, like negatively though, Leo can be inclined towards being dramatic, you know, so definitely look out for that. But yeah, that's pretty much like your sun in Leo in the 6th house, you feel what I'm saying? Now let's talk about your moon. So your moon is in Gemini, and it's in the decan of fidelity, you feel me? Fidelity, loyalty, you feel what I'm saying? And it's in the 3rd house. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So, the moon. So whereas the sun signifies how you express yourself outwardly and the things that you can get into to make you feel the most alive. So you feel most alive when you're able to express yourself authentically, you know, when you're able to just be you, you feel me? And also you feel most of yourself when you're able to service and you're able to work, you know, and help and feel like you're useful, you know, like the 6th house energy, it very much loves being useful, you feel me? So being occupied and being busy, these are things that bring you pleasure. But ultimately with the Leo energy, being empowered attracts to you pleasure. You know, when you are in positions where you feel powerful, when you're in positions where you feel needed, you feel me, and things like that, these energies help to vitalize you and bring you life. You know, when you feel like you're helping people that can't help themselves even, or you're speaking up for someone who can't speak for themselves even, you feel me, type energy, things like that make you come to life. And it's ultimately feeling your vitality helps you come to life. And applying your will, you feel me, being like, I will do this, and then accomplishing your goals. You know, Leo is a very ambitious sign, and especially within the decan signified by Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is all about Jupiter and Jupiter is all about expansion. So also when you're pursuing your ambitions, you know, and with this sun within the 6th house, you most definitely should have ambitions and goals, and yeah, you definitely should center them around like your work even, you know, like focus on climbing that ladder, you feel me, corporate ladder, and getting to the top and attaining those higher positions that come with higher salaries and checks, you feel what I'm saying? So yeah, that's that energy. Now let's talk about the moon. So as the sun is your external expression, your identity, the moon more deals with your internal expression. You know, this is how you react and respond to the stimulus that you receive from the external environment, you feel me? This is how you process your emotions. This is also how you nurture or nourish yourself, but furthermore how you nurture and nourish others, you feel what I'm saying? So first and foremost, let's talk about Gemini. So Gemini is a sign that deals with the thought, you feel me? And I'm a Gemini myself, you know, and so Gemini also deals with talking and speed, you know, so I'm probably talking hella fast, but you can keep up, I'm pretty sure, because you're a Gemini like me too, so yeah, you know. But yeah, you know, so Gemini, it deals with speed of thought, you feel me? And so this decan in which you have your Gemini, your moon in, it's actually the decan of fidelity, and this decan is signified by a hound, you feel me, by a dog, you feel what I'm saying? And the reason why the ancients who are putting the symbols up there that just represent the stars, the constellations, the reason why they picked a dog was to signify this decan's loyalty, you know, and dogs are the most loyal friends of man, you feel what I'm saying? They're very loyal. A dog is willing to die for their friend, you feel me? And then there's a story that's associated with this decan, you know, and this is a story concerning two friends who grew up together, went to the same school together, because Gemini rules schooling as well, you know. And so one day one of the friends was accused wrongly of committing a crime that he didn't do. And so everyone in the towns believed that he committed that crime. And so then they tried to hang him, you know. And then his best friend, and then the dude that was about to get hanged, he continuously, you know, like defended himself and was like, I didn't do it. It's not me. Like, you guys got it all wrong. And so his friend came to the stage and he was like, because he continuously asked for them to let him go so he can go and bring proof, and he kept on promising that he will return, but they didn't believe him. They thought that if they let him go, then he would just run off. And so his friend, you know, knowing him and being loyal to him, you know, he gave himself to the cause, and he was like, I will take his place. And so then he was brought to the stage, you feel me, where they were gonna hang him or something like that. And so he took his place, and they gave the dude until like nighttime to return, or his friend would get hung. And so then he leaves and he returns, you feel what I'm saying, with this evidence. And so this story ultimately highlights that union between friends that can be cultivated. And this union between friends is especially cultivated here within the Gemini Deacon of Fidelity. This is the Gemini Libra energy as well, you feel what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll leave it at that, you feel what I'm saying? So that there is wonders and ability to but demonstrate great loyalty. And so this can even be loyalty to a thought or a concept or a faith or a belief that you have, just being loyal to it, an idea mostly, because Gemini rules with the thoughts, you feel what I'm saying? And so ultimately, with your moon being in Gemini, this is an indication that mentally you are scattered, you feel me? And because it's air, it's thoughts, so you may have a tendency of wanting to engage with many different thoughts simultaneously, you feel what I'm saying? When in reality, sometimes it's like just engaging, well, let me put it like this. And so what happens here with the scattered energy is you also can become ungrounded, because the Gemini energy is very ungrounded, it's very up in the air, it's very unrealistic, always in our heads, always in our minds. And so what happens here is that you have to find ways to ground yourself. Go on YouTube and look up the documentary The Earthing movie, you feel me, and learn about grounding and learn the scientific facts about it if you already don't know. As a Gemini, you enjoy information. It's one of those things that brings you comfort and nourishment when you are informing yourself, when you are educating yourself. And so one of the means of information transfer is communication, right? So you really enjoy when you can have intellectual communications with other people, and they can put you on game, and they can give you knowledge and wisdom. So you also enjoy communicating with others as well. But with the Gemini energy, your desire for communication, you might like to do it more so behind doors than in front. But then like the Leo energy being extroverted, I'm not saying you're an extrovert, but I'm saying that behind doors you may have a tendency of being more comfortable and being more open to allowing yourself to get mentally stimulated, but you definitely enjoy mental stimulation, and you also especially enjoy it with relationships, with partners, women who can mentally stimulate you. You really enjoy that, you feel me? You're a mental type of dude, who is attracted to a female's mental mind before anything else. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, so pretty much with Gemini, it's scattered air, and like I said, it's a Deacon of Fidelity, mutable air. So this also does make you a very adaptable and flexible person. You feel me? So your strength is in your adaptability and your flexibility. You are a very flexible person. But the weakness with the Gemini energy is that you may be too changeable sometimes. You may feel blue, sometimes you may feel red, and throughout the day you may go from A to Z, you feel what I'm saying? So we can be very changeable as Geminis. So do try, rather than continuously changing occupation or changing this or the third. So it's in the third house also, which is an indication that education is something you enjoy, you feel what I'm saying? And so this is primarily education of self, educating yourself and learning and studying and wanting to understand why. Because Gemini, it's a scientist, you feel me? And it's all about the exploration of the world around, and learning and decoding the world around and just understanding what it is and what it's about, you feel what I'm saying? That's Gemini. And so with the Gemini energy, it's important that you have some sort of channel of information that you're continuously learning and you're continuously educating yourself, so get books, bro, and go on Audible, or like just access audio books, like it may be easier for you, and find a couple YouTube channels like mine, for instance, that give information and knowledge. And this is going to be one of the ways that you can help to nourish yourself. And this is like one of the ways you can give yourself self-love, self-love through educating yourself, but also through educating yourself about yourself. And that means establishing dialogue with your mind, and going in and like communicating and talking with yourself, and because Gemini, it also deals with duality, it deals with like the mind body, the mind and soul, you feel what I'm saying, or like the intuition and the reason, you feel me? So learning to establish communication between your emotion and your thoughts is important, and bringing them together, right? Because this is the Deacon of Fidelity, which also is Libra energy. It's Gemini Libra energy. So this Deacon is like marriage. So learning to marry your emotions and your thoughts together is going to be of great benefit and great importance for you. You feel what I'm saying, bro? Um, but yeah, so ultimately with this energy also, the third house, it signifies the environment. You feel me? So your environment is a space in which you should go into, but for the sake of like emotionally nourishing yourself, go out and like explore your neighborhood. Make sure that you have fresh air. You feel me? Make sure that you know where things are. Like if you probably like driving around already, but you feel me? Like drive around. You feel me? And just go on trips. When like emotionally you may be feeling constipated or something. Go around and explore your neighborhood. Or even go within and explore your mind, because the third house, it not only deals with the external environment, but it also deals with the internal environment, and the internal chit chat inside of you. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, the best thing I'll leave it with this. Look, so Gemini and evolutionary astrology, not esoteric. Well, it's also esoteric astrology, because evolutionary astrology is esoteric. And evolutionary astrology, Gemini is the conduit. Gemini is the channel. You feel me? And once we unify our thoughts and our emotions, and we're no longer at war with ourselves, with our emotions or our thoughts, then the duality becomes our lower self and our higher self. And this is when the soul starts to impart information into the mind, and it's like your will is exalted to serve your soul rather than to serve your animalistic nature. You feel what I'm saying? And that reminds me, so with the Leo energy, as I was talking about, and it being Centaur, right? Centaur is half animal, half horse. It's important that you utilize your ability of reformation to reform your desires from lower desires to higher desires, meaning desires that incline towards helping others. Because Jupiter, which is the Leo, which is where you have your sun at, the Leo Sagittarius deacon. So it's still Leo energy. It's still about the will and it's all about the I, but it's influenced by Jupiter through Sagittarius. And this is all about allowing yourself to do good things, good deeds, especially at work. Do more than they're paying you, and allow yourself to give without the expectation of receiving, because in esoteric understanding, it's not about what you receive, but it's about what you give that will make way for you to receive. You feel me? And with the Leo energy, it's very important to allow yourself to get into a space where you are like an overachiever, and you're just giving, and you're selfless, but also you're charitable, right? Because Leo also deals with the heart. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's Leo, and that's also the moon. And now let's look into your most prominent prominent planet. So your most prominent planet is Uranus. You feel me? And you have Uranus within the decan of expiation, and so it's in the decan of expiation, and it's within the 7th house, right? So Uranus is a planet that deals with the individual, right? It deals with individuality. It's a planet of uniqueness. It's rather sporadic, you feel me? And it's rather sporadic, and chaotic rather than eccentric, and caring about following the rules. You feel what I'm saying? It more wants to do its own thing and wants to be a unique expression. You feel what I'm saying? And so for you, with you having Leo within the 7th house, so the 7th house, Uranus in the 7th house. The 7th house is a house that deals with partnerships. It deals with relationships. You feel what I'm saying? And so with you having Uranus here, it's an indication that like when it comes to your partnerships and when it comes to your relationships, those are the areas which have a great sway and a great influence upon your life. You feel what I'm saying? And so with Uranus being here, it's an indication that your relationships are untraditional. You feel what I'm saying? You might like to get into a relationship style that's not natural. I don't want to say natural or unnatural, because that's not the right term, but it's not conventional. You feel me? You like to go against the grain and be unconventional ultimately. And it's like through your experiences with relationships, like your individuality is more cultivated and your uniqueness is more cultivated, and there is a unique expression about the way you do relationships. You feel what I'm saying? And this planet is the most influential. And so Uranus, is a planet ultimately that deals with change, and so it's an indication that it's through partnership and relationship that you and of yourself go through necessary changes. You feel me? I say necessary changes, but honestly, the truth is, Uranus, it's just unstable also. So sometimes the changes you go through, they may be sporadic and they may be unnecessary. But sometimes the changes you go through are very what were needed. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so it's very much the planet of change. And with the seventh house being in Uranus here also, it's an indication that when it comes to your relationship and your union, it's something that's of great importance to you. You know, being in a partnership is important, and with Uranus, mental compatibility becomes highlighted as well. You need to be with a partner who mentally is compatible with you, and who you can mentally plug in with, and elevate. You feel what I'm saying? And go into meditations with, and like explore the universe and explore deeper thoughts through the joining of you and her. You feel me? You and them, whatever it is. You feel what I'm saying? And so, yeah, you know, that's the seventh house energy. Uranus in the seventh house. So definitely do be attentive and aware of like your relationships and how it is that they're influencing you. You feel me? And allow the changes that take place to flow through channels that are more harmonious than destructive. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, ultimately, I think that's it. I think that's it, bro. Yeah. Let me look. Let me look to see if there's anything else to speak about. Like yeah. I mean, like you also have your sun and your moon trining each other, right? And so with your sun and your moon trining each other, you know, this just indicates a harmonious flow between your inner world and your outer world. My bad, not trining, sextiling each other. So with them sextiling each other, it's an indication that like you're a sort of person who you're like kind of on the same page with your external and internal. So in the sense that your emotions and your emotional needs can be fulfilled. Like you have an ability to see when you can do something to fulfill you emotionally, that deals with your actions and your identity. You feel me? So it's like you can use your identity to fulfill yourself emotionally. Like you know when you can act on certain things. Like you know and see when opportunities open for you as an individual to further expand your comfortability and your emotions. You feel what I'm saying? But you're a type of person, you don't only do that for you, but you can also help other people do that. And so thus people also feel comfortable around you. And you can be even the type of person who puts people on with certain things, you feel me, that people may not have known about. And you may even just be the friend who's continuously discovering and finding new things, and you're like, yo, and you know, just in your life, like there it can be an opportunity filled type of life, you feel what I'm saying? With sun sextile the moon. And then we also have sun sextile Uranus. And so with your sun sextile Uranus, this ultimately just indicates that you're a type of person who you know when the good times for you to be unique and for you to be rebellious are. Like you're not a type of like you are typically chill, of course, and you do with the crowd, and you do it like that. But it's like when you see that what the crowd is doing is wrong, and there's a better way to do it, then you know how to change and shift and become an individual and become a unique expression. You feel me? That's not a part of the crowd, but that's in a sense quote unquote separate. You feel what I'm saying? And so also you have like your sun, moon, not your sun, moon, your sun and Mercury conjunct each other, and this gives you the gift of gab. This gives you an ability to be able to articulate your thoughts in a manner that's elegant and in a manner where people are willing to hear you and listen to you. You know, a lot of times Leo energy, because it's literal energy and it's very influential, when Leo speak, people listen. You know, they lend an ear. And so yeah, you got that as well going for you. All right, and then you also have your sun, moon. My bad, your moon and Mercury also trining each other, right? So with your moon and your Mercury trining each other, this is an indication that you also have an ability to bring in communication form your emotional needs. You feel me? When you need something emotionally, you have an ability to articulate it to someone and let them know, like, yo, I've been going through this, you know, and I'm gonna need some time off right now. You feel me? Because this, the third, the fourth, and the fifth, or whatever it is. That's ultimately an indication that you have an ability to express your emotions, but it's in a manner where you know when the time is right. You know that you don't just go in and you do it, but it's like you see when the opportunity is open for you to express yourself emotionally. But of course, I also want to say this, just because we're talking opportunities, not all doors that you walk through are good doors. Not all opportunities are good opportunities. But I just want to say you have that ability to see the opportunities when you can express yourself. You know what I'm saying? Emotionally, and also emotionally express yourself. You know what I'm saying? And express your emotional needs as an individual as well, technically, which means the same thing in a sense. All right, and now we also have like your Mars and your Sun. Your Mars and your Sun, my bad. Your Mars and your Moon are squaring each other. So with your Moon and your Mars squaring each other, this is an indication that when it comes to getting up and doing things, sometimes it may go against your emotional desire, your desire of comfortability. Like, it may be hard for you to get up and work on something that's hard, something that requires you overcoming an obstacle and challenge. Like, sometimes you just might want to sit in comfortability, and you might find it an obstacle, a challenge for you to get up and do things. Do things that deal with your work. Even, that's interesting. It's like even though we got like your Sun, so you do it anyways because it's like something that you feel like you need to do. It's purposeful, so you do it anyways. But there may be emotional challenges, you feel me, with getting up and going to work, you feel me, that you need to learn to override and channel into higher flows. But this is ultimately also like just getting into energies where it's like, all right, so if you go through this and you triumph and you work hard, then as a result, you're going to become emotionally more secure and emotionally more stable. You're going to be in a better place with security. Like, you may just be comfortable with the security that you have, and there may be this energy of like restriction when it comes to actually getting out and doing it. But it's like with the Leo energy, you are very ambitious, of course, and you have those higher ambitions and desires. But it's like with that square between your Moon and your Mars, it's an indication that your emotions may not always be in harmonious alignment with the things you need to do and the things you need to overcome, the obstacles you need to overcome. You feel me? So that may be a place where like frustration may come forth. And you also have like your Moon squaring your Jupiter as well. So with your Moon squaring your Jupiter, this is an indication of like sometimes, like when it comes to doing the right thing versus doing what feels comfortable to you may also be hard, you feel me? Sometimes, like, also getting into a space where you need to do something that's expansive to you, you feel me? Maybe like you just may want to not do it and continue to do what's comfortable to you. And this energy here also, I want to say, is like Leo deals with wisdom, and it deals with your good deeds even also, And so with this energy, it's like sometimes you may go against your moral system because and the bigger picture, because you just want to be comfortable, So sometimes you might let your emotions get the best of you, and you may act in ways that are immoral because it's hard for your emotions to align with the morality, and it's easier for you to just be in a space of comfort rather than a space where you're like enforcing. So this, what needs to be looked at is your religious indoctrinations from your childhood, you feel me, and what kind of associations you associated with like these natural laws, you feel me. And because a lot of people, because of the way that they're raised, they think that there is a God up there who's like revengeful, and if you break his rules, he will come for you. But that's not the case. These rules are out here because of natural law and because of cause and effect, and it's like when you break these laws, naturally things happen. And then when you follow these laws, naturally other good things happen, But yeah, like there is a need to assess, you feel what I'm saying, your upbringing and like the moral systems in which you were given, you feel me, as a child. But yeah, so that's pretty much that. And we can also, what else? Okay. And then like, yeah, that's pretty much that for your moon. Wait, not really. Yeah, man, that's pretty much that for your moon. Well, and your moon is squaring your opposing your Neptune. So with your moon opposing your Neptune, this is like Neptune deals with dreams also, and it deals with your imagination. You feel what I'm saying? So you may have trouble with incorporating your imaginative mind. You feel what I'm saying? And getting into a space where you allow your imagination and your ways of fantasy thinking to bring comfort to you. But you may have been conditioned in a manner where you think fantasy thinking and incorporating and entangling in emotions, not emotion, but incorporating and entangling into just fantasy thinking in general, and you're using your imagination may be a waste of time or something like that. You feel me? And you may not, you may not, or there may not even be comfort that comes from your imagination, because there may be maybe dark energies dealing with your imagination and the things you imagine. You know, that's a possibility. And so needing to work on imaginative ability also becomes something of significance. You know, and learning to get into a flow where you associate yourself with a higher picture, you feel me, and allow yourself to understand that you exist within a universal community of like brothers and sisters, you feel me, and just understanding universal welfare and the fact that in this lower realm of density, yeah, there's separation, but there are higher realms where unification is the primary key, you feel what I'm saying? But yeah, anyways, so yeah, that's that. And now let's look at like Uranus, you feel me? So first thing first, you have Uranus squaring your Venus. So it's like although Uranus is within the within the house of relationships, and this is an indication that when it comes to your relationships, you express great uniqueness. It's also an indication that when like with the square between Venus and Uranus, it's an indication that due to your uniqueness, sometimes you may not be able to harmoniously, most times you're not able to harmoniously interact with people and enjoy a social life because of like the way that you are as an individual, the way you bring yourself as an original, as a unique individual. You feel what I'm saying? Like that may cause restriction and friction between the social life which you're asked to fit in and the energies you want to bring. You feel what I'm saying? With that square. And so there may be a need for you to learn to compromise ultimately. Alright, and we also have Uranus. No, actually that's it. Just Uranus square. Alright, but yeah, bro, so that pretty much concludes this first section of the reading. And so the way that I do the readings, you know, I was kind of moving fast. I wasn't able to break it down for you, but I'll break it down right now. The way I do the readings, it's 4 sections, right? And you just completed the first section. Each section is $30, you feel what I'm saying? So that was the first section. And so in the next section, we are going to be looking at your inner planets, and that is Mercury, which is the planet that deals with your intellectual abilities. Venus, which is the planet that deals with your social life and how you socialize. Mars, which is the planet that deals with your aggressive ability and how you strive and go overcome obstacles. Jupiter, which ultimately deals with your moral abilities, your moral compass. It deals with your religious thoughts. So not meaning that that you have religion, but like think about it in a manner of faith. You know how you incorporate faith and how you incorporate your wisdom and how you can incorporate your morals and things like that. You know what I'm saying? And then Saturn, which is the planet that deals with restrictions, and things like that. And Saturn deals with the need for like self-preservation. You know, so it deals with fear. It deals with things like systemizing, discipline. It deals with time. You know, and it deals with work and labor. You know, so in the next section we get more into that and we break that down, and that's also only $30. Each section is only $30, you feel what I'm saying? And so definitely watch this and get back with me, and I will do your next reading for you. Alright, peace. I look forward to hearing from you.